Hey there, Fallen here. Sorry for interrupting the podcast, but I have a little announcement I'm going to make. I'm starting my own film studio called Frostbite Productions. If you're interested in joining or checking it out, the link will be in the description. We're currently recruiting, so you want to body act, voice act, camera operate, edit, you name it, we need it. Uh, and if you just want to check it out, see what we're working on, feel free to do that as well. Our first project that we're working on is VR Chat's first ever virtual sitcom. So, you're excited, want to check it out, please check the link in the description, join the Discord. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.
Like your
Ain't got
whole
two-
shtick about, oh, you play VR chat long enough to become gay or a furry, and it's like, are you projecting?
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Welcome to V Divers. It's just, it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a cloudy day. It's a bit of a cloudy. Today we're going to be talking about the general topic of kind of after relationships and just friendships, whether that's online, in person, just the dynamics of our communities that we interact with, and whatever other stuff.
Yes.
Sorry,
We're already
I
off
didn't
to a
mean
great
I didn't mean
start.
to steer straight into your soul, being like, "Go on,
Go on.
yeah."
Yep.
Like, you're gonna be the
Speak
trouble
your mind.
child of this entire time.
Oh yes, I don't have to host this one, so time
It
for me
makes
to.
it makes it a bit easier on you. Although I
make
wanna,
yourself-
so I wanna know more about your actual, like, what is it? The media creation community that you're a part of, right? That,
Oh
like,
yes.
you've done your own media creation of just your own skits, short films.
Yep.
But then how did you start interacting with, like, such, well, what I define as big names, but I don't know if other people define them as big names.
To be honest, I I think it's just pure luck because the thing is how I ended up like meeting like Sky King and like Constantine, those guys who are like the big top dogs at Metacosm. Um, I it was kind of purely by chance because I started off like I think I watched their first movie trailer when it first came out for the at the time it was called VR Chat the movie, which they had to rename because they weren't allowed to use VR Chat. VR Chat didn't like it, so yeah. So I watched the original the VR Chat the movie trailer, and I loved it. I was like, that is such a genius way to use VR because it saves you time on like animation, like CGI. Um, you can get any body actor to play any person. Like obviously I don't look like this IRL, but I could play a character that looks exactly like this. So like it just makes it so much easier for things like that, and I thought it was genius. So and then a couple of years went by. I followed their stuff for a little while. I watched other films and stuff, and then I heard an announcement on their Twitter, which was they're partnering with VRCon to make a big what are those things called again? I'm totally blanking on it. Uh, film film festival. There we go. Yeah, they partnered with Metacosm to make a big film festival. Or yeah, Metacosm paired with VRCon to make a big film festival, and I was like, well, if there's any chance that I can get in and be a part of this, I want to take it. So I ended up, I think I had only had full body for like 3 or 4 days after this, at this point, and I hopped in VR chat. I had no plan going in, but at the time I had this robot avatar that had a Beyblade on it, like it used DPS to make a Beyblade. And I found it absolutely hilarious. So I used it, um, and I put it on this robot avatar that I had, and I gave it a fedora, and I went to this Western world, and I'm like, what are we gonna do here? I want to make a standoff between two people using the Beyblades, and so So I did the entire recording, editing, and like body acting myself, which was interesting because I've never edited anything before. But I don't know. I guess I had the creative juices flowing, so I ended up figuring out a way to have both me and also
Mm.
me in the same scene at the same time by just positioning the camera in a place where I could cut half of the frame to be me and then crop another video over top of that where it's also me on the other side. So they're facing off, they're standing up, and then rip the Beyblade and it ends. Um, I thought it was really stupid. It only took me like probably an hour to record and like 2 hours of like working on editing and stuff like that. Um, and it's only like a 2 minute long video max. I think I don't even think it's 2 minutes. But I sent it in, not expecting very much. To my surprise, it was a couple weeks later. I looked in my email and I saw an email from one of the guys at Meta. I think it was Metacosm. Actually, no, it might have been one of the VRCon staff. They said, "Oh, we loved your film. You've been accepted. Can you please send us the raw video file for your video?" I'm like, "Whoa, this is absolutely nuts!" Because I was like, "There's no way." And I get to, and then they're like, "You get to be in the main instance with the other creators." It's like I get to be in the main instance with the other directors, and I'm like, "Oh, that was so nuts to me," because like obviously the Metacosm guys were there. The one of the other short films that I really loved is called Sync. It's by a guy named Legend, and I got to meet him there, and it was really cool. Um, and so basically I did that, and then at VRCon I discovered another media group called Portal Media. I went to their booth and I joined their Discord because they have it there. Um, and I don't know. I wasn't know I didn't know what to expect there because it was a smaller group, and I was like, well, maybe I have a better shot body acting for this crew. And so I did. I joined. I applied. I got accepted into their team, on both the marketing and the the body acting team. I feel bad because I don't do a lot of for the marketing, but they don't really give us a lot to work with, unfortunately, um, marketing
Yeah, fair
wise.
enough.
I've done my best to like tell everyone I know about it. I've dragged friends into the movie and chill world and watched the Portal Media short films that they have there because they have them. You can search them up in the movie and chill world, and you can actually watch them there, which is interesting. And then it was
Hmm.
I think it was 2 or 3. No, it's got to be more than that now. Would have been 5 weeks ago probably. That I saw an announcement in the Metacosm Discord that they're like, we need some full body actors. Please reach out. Sky King was like, please reach out to me. We need some full body actors to like with FBT for a scene that we're doing. And I was like, oh, this might be my shot. I uh, I
This
I
is my
messaged him.
in.
I know. I was like, I messaged him. I was like, yeah, I'd love to. I got full body. I got stunt mats. I can do whatever you need. And then he's like, oh, that's perfect. We'll keep that in mind. And yeah, no, you can come. We need you. And then I showed up. I was expecting to just be some random background character, which I'm still technically a background character in the scene, but they ended up giving me a Deku, which is like the main character's love interest. Which I was like, oh my god, I showed up here and I'm already getting like a recognizable character role. Um, but it was really fun. And I don't play him for like so.
I
There's gonna
mean,
be other people who play him at different points in the movie because I was only the reshoots
hmm,
version of him.
yeah, I can't imagine doing just the acting in VR chat, like the whole.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a whole different boat of like thought process and everything. I just don't have that for that sort of content creation side of things. Um, I don't know. I think you'd probably be pretty good at it, Kitsune, in all honesty.
Me,
But I feel it would take, yeah, I think it would take a
I don't,
tiny bit to get you out of your shell. But I think you'd be really good at it.
hey, I know I'm goofy, but I'm not that goofy to be do full acting like that.
Speaking of acting,
But,
I have a new project that I want to work on. I was at work yesterday,
oh,
and I was in a really shitty mood at work because I was like getting sick of my coworker because he's not the best dude. He has a lot of um, you know, racism, homophobic tendencies that are a little uncomfortable to be around in my situation. But so I was in a shitty mood, and then out of nowhere, like my brain was like, hmm, I want to make a VR chat sitcom. And I was like, oh, a sitcom.
God,
I feel like a sitcom in VR
so
chat would
amazing.
be absolutely awesome. Because I loved
I mean, it
sitcoms growing
would.
up. It's a lot of work though, so I'm still working on like the logistics of everything behind it, but it is definitely a project I want to pursue at some point.
Do the AI generated sitcom and everyone has their script.
The AI generated script. I mean, I did consider just like throwing in like what I want the show to be about into Chat GPT and to see what it comes up with. I don't think I'll use it exclusively for the script, but they'll probably definitely get some ideas that way, or like at least see how a sitcom script should be structured. Because I know for sitcoms when you're
Mm.
recording them, you got to leave room for like laugh tracks, um, things like that when you're acting.
Oh, oh.
Yeah,
No, sorry, I can't. I can't contribute to the laugh track. I'm not convincing enough.
you hear everyone laughing normally, and just in the background you hear plays ho 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 ho
Oh,
ho. Yeah. But yeah, I think it'd be a really
why
fun
is he calling
project.
the actors a hoe?
You're a hoe. You're a hoe. But the reason
Ho ho ho
the
ho
reason
ho.
I think a sitcom would be such a great idea is because I feel like it'd be fun to make kind of like a VR chat parody of something like Seinfeld or like How I Met Your Mother or like some sitcoms like that, Friends, things like that. I'm not a huge fan of Friends, but I love like um the Seinfeld show. Um and I feel like it'd be fun to do like a VR chat parody version of that because there's a lot of options there. And I want to make it super meta, like
You,
super like in touch with like VR chat culture. Um and I feel like that'd be really entertaining.
you, you very subtly angered many hundreds, thousands of people,
Of
if
Friends
not
enjoyers?
millions, by saying, "Oh, I don't enjoy Friends."
Really? Because I don't think that's all that hot to take. Everywhere I look, I always see people be like, "Oh fuck, I don't like Friends." That are like, I mean, I didn't mind Friends. Like, I love Joey. To this day, I'll always do the, "Hey, how you doing?" You know. But I don't know. I feel like this the I didn't like the story as much of that one. It wasn't like a coherent story, and the comedy was very hit or miss most of the time.
Hmm.
How I Met Your Mother is my favorite though because it's a lot of yes, it's like still like lots of comedy, lots of funny bits, but there's also like they also throw in some episodes that cover some like very serious things or like some very serious emotion, and I love that. I love the emotion that you can feel watching shows like that.
Hmm. Hot takes on sitcoms.
Honestly, I don't really watch those,
I get they're not like
or
that
just like
popular
They're at
TV
least
anymore
shows in general.
since like YouTube and
TV.
yeah.
media has changed a lot over the years. Sitcoms used to be huge all the time, but now I don't know if there's any that I know and enjoy that are still running.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean,
Yeah,
it was like Kitsune was just saying, was there's TV shows.
Yeah.
Like, do you not particularly watch them much?
I
no.
Yeah, like TV shows nowadays I feel are a very different type of show. I love the sitcom type because I feel like it's funny, the characters are relatable. They're not trying to force some worldview on you in some like way, you know?
Mm, mm,
Like
mm.
cuz don't get me wrong. Like I will straight up admit it, I'm pretty gay. Um, but I also really don't like it when like TV shows feel the need to be like, okay, we're gonna make this character all of a sudden turn gay because we need to appeal to that audience. And I just feel like it doesn't fit some of the characters that they force it on, and I also don't like some of the dynamics that it creates there. Um,
I can't really think of an example though.
Mine is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I mean, they already had the captain who's like a gay black man from the very episode one. They had that, but later down the line, they introduced like one of the female characters, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, she's bi now." Um, and and she has a girlfriend, and I was like, I don't know, that felt very forced. It didn't feel natural to me, like to the character. Um,
You know what? Actually, surprisingly, I never actually put two and two together that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a sitcom.
yeah. It's a more
Am I
modern type of
dumb?
sitcom. No, 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 no. It's the thing is the reason why it's hard to tell that one is a sitcom is because it's a very different style. Yes, it's still like got a lot of the comedy, but I feel like the way that they record it is a little more modern because old-fashioned sitcoms they'd have like the one camera on like the spiel in the center of the room that would like track the characters as they move
Wait,
out the room and do things.
s-
But Brooklyn Nine-Nine was very much
oh
they
my god.
dynamic zooms. They have like jump cuts to different locations. So that's kind of the reason
Is
why a lot of people don't recognize that.
is The Office a sitcom?
I would consider The Office a sitcom, yeah.
I'm having my world torn apart and built back up again. I'm
It's like that one meme is like it's always been fake. It always has been.
It
With the
always has with Esther
action,
on the
the
gun.
gun.
Yeah. The Office was a sitcom all along. It always has been.
I don't know why. It like I guess yeah, it's a modern sitcom. It's not just one
Yeah.
camera angle. There are multiple
Yeah,
sets.
the dynamic zooms.
But but what's like frustrating my brain is like but Friends always had that. But Friends was always a your ye old stereotypical kind of sitcom of
Mm,
oh there's the apartment, oh there's another apartment,
yeah.
there's like
Recurring like
I don't
sets
know,
all the
it's
time.
like yeah, recurring sets and I guess sort of episodic kind of reset, not
Yeah.
reset, it depends, like, right? But I don't know, like then with The Office, it always felt more dynamic because it was always handheld. I guess it's the camera
Yeah.
shots. Yeah, it's
It felt more
dynamic camera
natural.
shots.
Yeah.
It's carrying the camera the entire time.
Because it's
So
like
it
a
then feels like
self-aware
you're
sitcom.
there.
Because obviously they acknowledge the
Mm.
camera all the time. Um, like when they do the sides with the guy, they'll have someone sitting there and be like, "Yeah, no, I don't mind that guy," or something. You know, they'll do like those like like side things. But I would still definitely consider that a sitcom because like it's not like real. Like it's actually like real that they're actually like an office group working. Obviously, it's all acted and like every episode is like written and they just have like really natural looking camera movements. Um, and things like that. Uh which I think gives it that more, I guess. Makes it feel less like a sitcom in the standard sense. Because what I wanted to do for a sitcom
Honestly,
is like for a VR chat one is I want to incorporate a lot of like the VR chat culture. So even people that aren't like familiar with VR chat or like who don't like go around and interact with all these communities could learn about them through it. I want to have I think I'm gonna do one that's also like an actor, you know, because I feel like those are interesting ones, like to play
oh my
because
god, an
kind of
actor
like
playing an actor, playing an actor, playing an actor,
I
playing an
mean,
actor,
isn't
playing
they
an
do that
actor.
in Friends with Joey, and Joey's my favorite character. I love that dynamic, the fact that like one of them's an actor because then you can always have them do like really stupid, funny things, um, and I feel like it's just an interesting like character type to have, um,
on on that note, I feel like in general having a character that is an actor, right?
mhm.
But the person is acting that said character. I feel like that's like really hard to do. Like just like now thinking about it, because
Uh,
you're acting said character with their own personality,
Mm.
yeah.
but the character's also an actor. So you're like
I mean,
doubling it.
to be honest, I feel like you're overcomplicating it. Because the thing about like acting, like a character that would be an actor, is the fact that you're already an actor is playing that character, so they are familiar with the actor lifestyle. They're familiar with like the things that they have to go through in a day to day. So I think that it would actually be a more comfortable role for someone like that. Because you're still a normal person. You're playing a
I
normal
guess
person who
you're
just acts as their job. It's not like every time they're on screen, they're acting and doing crazy things all the time. They're a normal person that's interacting. They're having their own interpersonal relationships with the other characters. Uh,
okay. Well, I want to throw a spanner into your works.
yeah.
So that would have to be a pretty good VR chat actor to act out being a normal person. You know that that's like
Fair enough. Fair
it's,
enough.
it's like asking me to act out being a unicorn, right? Like I don't know what that is.
I mean, actually, if I were to get
No,
someone to
I'm
act
kidding.
as a
Okay.
normal person, I would probably go to you. You're the most normal person here.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But that's the issue. I'm so normal that I don't know how to act. So then I don't know what to do to then be normal.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, that.
No, I think it'll be a really fun project. The thing I'm like worried about is I'm not very good at like networking with people, and I know I'm gonna need to find obviously
Mm,
actors. I need to find a cameraman because I'm not the best camera work, and I'd much rather act in it than be the camera person. I'm probably gonna do the editing still and uh like script writing, of course. But I would love to act in it as opposed to record it because I am not good with the camera. Hence why all of our shots for the
mm.
podcast are one static camera in the center.
Maybe,
So on the
maybe,
topic of networking,
Yeah.
oh, maybe what?
maybe you should have me tell you where to point the camera next time. I don't know. You see me take good pictures on VR chat?
The thing is I can take static pictures just fine. The thing that I'm like not good at is like the cinematography of like for this scene you want to zoom in on this particular thing, or you want to catch like do this certain thing with the camera to emphasize a certain mood. Like I know how that stuff works in like the generalized sense, but capturing it is not what I'm good at.
Mm. So you could write the script for I want a wide angle of this, and I want this, and this has to be the focus, but then actually
Yeah.
executing it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can
Like, cause I
understand
know the
that.
concept. I know like for like certain shots, you do certain things. If you want to make something feel small or something feel big, you keep the camera low. You want something to feel small, you put the camera high. Like I know the basics of things like that. Executing them is where I struggle because like I'd be like go to put the camera high and be like, oh, is this too high? It's probably too high. It looks a little funky. Just it's just getting it down right. So I would need to find someone who's like experienced with that kind of thing.
What I'm interested in is you've got a lot of your cinema and Metacosm and Portal Media networking for just all range of things that you want to do, even just making friends as well. And so then I don't know. I don't really have much communities to go to then like
Yeah.
broaden my horizons of friends. So that's why everyone finds me in Black Cats 24/7 if I am on, because that's my
Yeah, that's how you meet
community.
people. Yep, the black cat community.
That's everyone gives me a lot of shit for that. They're like, it's the worst place ever. You can't make friends there. Everyone is like a child, and it's like honestly, I don't really notice it. It's just you ignore the people that you don't like.
Yeah.
You talk to the people that
But
you do.
answer me
Like
this,
it's quite simple.
how much relationship or just friendship drama have you been dragged into by hanging out with people in a black cat?
Legally, I cannot answer that question. No, a lot, a lot. Okay, fair enough. Like
Yeah.
I do encounter a lot of very troubled people.
Yeah.
Eh, but I mean, in all honesty, I don't think that would be any different in any other community at all. Like
I
it
mean,
really is just a
I haven't been dragged into
like I
any
wouldn't say a
relationship.
VR chat thing.
I mean, actually one. It happened once where I got dragged into something. And I say dragged in as like I didn't do anything. They were just ranting to me about it, and I gave ish advice that they didn't end up listening to. But so it's only happened once,
Hmm.
but they were definitely the type of person that is like a black cat hopper. So like it's there's
Oh,
a very
okay. So
specific
it
type.
is.
It's a
Okay, so
type.
it is a thing to do with my community, like the
It is
community that
it
I.
is a little bit of a thing.
Yeah,
Because it's not like if you're in that
I didn't
community you
know that.
can't be in other communities. It's just sometimes, at least for me, having been in VR chat for so long, it's definitely identifiable when I'm like, oh, yep, you're the kind of person that will hang out in Black Cats and end up getting into some drama that I don't want to be a part of. So I'm kind of like
See, at
a
least whenever I'm involved in drama, it's not me that's the drama.
yes, no, for sure,
It's always other people.
yes. Yep. That's why that one day I messaged you on Discord and I gave you that really sad gif and I was like, I became you because you're always the one who gets sucked into that drama. And that was the day that I got sucked into that
Oh,
drama.
I thought that was just about you getting old.
I'm not old. I'm still very young and
I
lively.
I mistook that completely wrong. Cause then like it, cause then consider I want to know like what communities do you like? Do you actually have any particular categories of communities that you like go to if you want something? I don't know what you want.
Uh, honestly, I actually don't know. I mean, I go rarely stumble upon like public like furry worlds, but otherwise I'm just kind of looking for nice looking worlds or just a nice group of people. I'm not really in a set community normally.
Hmm. Are there
I'm just
particular
literally
communities?
there.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like literally there.
I would
Yeah.
classify
Is
that
there
as a
any
community in
particular
itself.
communities that you gravitate towards for like finding people that you would deem
Yeah.
good, like as in like chill or whatever?
How I would describe the community that you're a part of is very much like the outcasts of the furry community because like there's a lot of
Oh,
people who love like the
oh,
furry type things, but like the avatars, things like that, but they're not a part of the community itself, or they have a
I
flaw or
wouldn't.
like a
I
problem
wouldn't.
with the furry community, and then they end up grouping
Can we
together. I'm not trying to be mean. Am I being mean? I'm not trying to be mean.
can we change? Can we change the wording? It's not outcasts. I
Well,
wouldn't call
it's not
them
like they're being
outcasts.
forced out on.
Exiles.
It's not like they're being
Exiles.
outcasted. Okay,
That
yeah,
comes with some
that was an
pretty heavy
incorrect term. Yes,
connotations.
no, that was probably the incorrect term. I guess it's the people that I guess enjoy like the furry style, but don't want to associate with a lot of the negative parts of the furry community. Which, like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really cool people in the
Hmm.
furry community, but you can't deny the fact there's a lot of really weird shit there too. Again, I'm not trying to be
Hmm.
mean, but
But
like you gotta
same with
acknowledge that
all
that's there.
communities.
Yeah, there's that. There's that for every community,
Well,
of course. Some just are a little
as I'm finding
weirder.
out, the black cat community has a lot of drama. That's one of
Yes.
our downsides, apparently.
Yep.
No, I'm just. I see it.
I'd
I do.
say
I
a downside
definitely
about
see
the
it.
film community is a lot of the time it feels like you're not getting genuine like friendship connections with people. It's more of like a you're an acquaintance because you're
Workplace.
working on a project. It's like a project acquaintance type relationship, which is fine in its own right because
Mm.
like I mean, it keeps a lot of that drama out of the recording areas. And yeah, we'll hang out, we'll have fun, we'll meme, but it's not like I go to these guys and like, "Oh, yep, these are my best friends. I'm just going to randomly join up them and hang out with them." Because I feel like we're not it's not that kind of relationship and I would be intruding, I guess, if I were to do something like that. But I don't know, that could
You
just be me.
Yeah.
it's something something about that like meeting people that are like content creators and all that. Like for me, I'm not really seeking or like, oh, I want to meet this person, hang out with them. No, but like this happens to me a lot of times where I meet a content creator and then we vibe and hang out and then they like my vibe so much we just become friends.
Oh,
And I don't see
Yeah.
them as a content creator. I just see them as a normal human being.
Oh,
And so
no.
whenever
No,
they're
of
like,
course,
oh
totally.
no, I like,
Hmm.
yeah, like they're like, oh, I gotta
Mm.
record this, record that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, no, of
you go,
course.
buddy. You
Yeah. No,
You got it.
I have a lot of TikTok friends that like do like content creation like that. And that's I feel like that's a different kind of like relationship. That's you meeting under the pretense of being friends. The thing about the film community is you're meeting under the pretext of we're filming and we're
Well,
recording something. So that's why it feels more like a job.
of
Okay,
course.
yeah.
And don't get me wrong,
I see
I
the
have met some
like
good friends there, like my
where that comes
buddy,
from then.
like my friend Ray. Um, he's a really good guy. I met him at the recording, and we have a lot of stupid fun during the recording sessions. I don't think I can talk about some of
Oh
the
yeah.
stuff we say because it's it's a lot.
What a
Hey
great way to throw someone under the
hey
bus.
yo, yeah, yeah.
It's me
Throwing someone
mostly,
under the
to be
bus,
honest. To be honest, it's mostly me. Like I'll say this one. I'm not sure if it'll make it into the cut, but if it does, then good on you guys for hearing it. But so there is this one scene where we're recording, and I'm in the Deku avatar because I play Deku. He's playing Joker, which is like I'm pretty sure Deku's best friend, and we were hanging out, and um the Deku avatar has a book that he can pull out in a pen, and for the scene, I was supposed to be just talking in the background with him because I was a background character in that particular shot. So, I was like holding the book and I was like showing him the book, like pretending that like, oh yeah, this is what I drew. Do you like it? And the entire time in that scene, you'll probably see it in the movie where you'll see Deku leaning over like Joker in the background, showing him his book, and you're just gonna think it's something innocent going on, but in reality, I was sitting there the whole time being like, "This is my Rule 34 tentacle hentai. I'm selling it for $35. Would you be interested in buying it?" That was the entire conversation, and he was like, "Oh yes, no, that's very interesting. Do you have any girls stuff?" And I'm like, "Oh yep, yep. We got the cat girls. We got the cat girls over here. Yep, yep. We got the big titties, the little titties, the medium-sized titties. Yeah, we got it all. We got it all here." And I was pretending to sell him Rule 34 hentai.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
okay. The real question here, not the main joke. For the filming industry, for
Yeah.
VR chat and Metacosm and all that, do you guys like when you're playing the background character, are the main people that are shooting the set frame have like the deafen mode or like the no not deafen mode,
No,
earmuff mode,
no. They can hear everything
like
we're
just
saying.
on? Oh my god. I'm I'm
Because
surprised no one has broke
yeah,
character just out of what's happening.
they add the voice lines in post. So basically, how the recording works is we don't use any of the lines from in game. The characters who speak say their lines to get the visemes to line up, but we don't use that audio. We have actual voice actors come in and dub over
Yeah.
it in the post, kind of like how we do for the recording of the podcast. They record their audio individually, and we patch it together in post. Um, and that's kind of how it works is like so basically if you got the raw video footage of that recording session you would hear me saying some extremely cursed things. uh I think
Honestly,
there's
I'm not surprised. I'd be hearing
So
it
so we're recording, ready to
24/7.
blackmail you when you
there
become
was one
popular.
scene where we were talking about have you ever seen of a cock gun? It's kind of like a
W-
silicone gun that you use to for like fixing things.
Oh,
It's
Oh
called
yeah,
caulk, like
yeah.
Caulk. We there was like a good
Cock.
three and a
Yeah.
half minute scene where the entire time we're in the background like, oh yeah, have you used your cock before? I'm a cock. I'm still new to cock, and then he's like, yeah, no, I used my cock for the first time the other day, and I have to say the release of that white stuff coming out on the other end is super satisfying. Oh, I love filling holes with my cock, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, 3.5 minutes that went on, and no one even like batted an eye. Everyone was so in trying to focus on being their character that like everyone had to keep a straight face. But every now and again, I'd hear someone in the background going like, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm absolutely gonna make this extremely hard for everyone. And I'm not
troopers
even.
for keeping in character. Oh my god, for
Yes.
3 minutes.
I had to, and so like we're in the background. We have to pretend like we're just talking and hanging out. So we're talking about cock like it's an everyday thing. It's like we're talking about the weather, but we're talking about cock. We had to make it look like we're talking about the weather when in reality we're talking about cock. That's basically the reality of that situation.
Oh.
I love it how someone could
It's
just
just
take this very moment of this podcast and just take it out of context.
Oh yes,
cock.
absolutely. Cock. Tell me about your cock.
Uh, uh,
Me,
you're
I
breaking.
love cock.
I can't. It, no.
I mean, he's waiting.
You could take that out of context. I don't care. I'm gay enough to own it.
Put it in a quote. No, in all honesty, like I've heard the stories of like the networking troubles of when you're a content creator.
Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that I end up meeting really famous TikTokers, hanging out
Oh,
with
of
them,
course.
talking for ages, and then someone goes, "Oh my god, is that?" And I'm not gonna name drop them, but it's just like, "Oh my god, is that them?" And it's like, "Oh, what? Someone? Oh, right, they must be your friend." They're like, "No, they're not my friend." I'm like, "Oh, okay, who are they?" And it's like, "Probably follow my TikTok." And I'm like, "Oh, you have a TikTok? That's cool."
Yeah.
And then I didn't ask them what their TikTok was for about a whole month. Um, and when I finally found it, uh, they have a lot of fucking followers, and I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, interesting.
Okay, I wanna bring
Okay,
something
like,
up. I want to bring something up. It's very funny that there's a lot of like I want to say content creators nowadays because like you can be in almost any platform that you can build on. I mean, besides Twitch, so far it's kind of going downhill. But like for a great example, Kick. I heard a lot of people are moving into Kick, or people just wanting to make funny little tiny shorts, so they'll probably do YouTube slash TikTok. And when I hear people say like, "Oh, I'm a content creator," I was like, "Cool." Anyways, moving on, and I just carry on my day. I'm not like, "Oh,
yeah, it's
what's
like,
such and
Yeah.
such."
Yeah, no, of course. I totally I'm totally of that mind. Like when I met Sky King for the first time, I knew he was like big. Like you see him in the announcement videos. He like this was after VR Chat's Got Talent. So he was one of the judges for VR Chat's Got Talent, and like I didn't treat him any differently because of that. In fact, honestly, after I
Hmm,
met him, I'm like, this dude is absolutely gremlin energy, which is exactly
yeah.
like me.
I
So
don't
we got
like.
along really well.
I really don't like stroking people's egos. Basically,
No,
like, because I mean that's not what every content creator's in for, right? But as
yeah,
in there is a handful of content creators that I've met, and I'm just like, oh my god, you really are unbearable. You
yeah,
want me
no,
to
of
like
course.
fall on my knees and be like, oh my god, you've got so many followers. That's so impressive. And I'm just like, it is impressive. I'll give you that,
Yeah,
but you are also just an ordinary person. There is
yes,
like you haven't
no.
proven or shown anything significant
Oh
to me
yeah,
to
of
treat you
course.
any
I would
differently.
totally
And so it's
agree.
like, oh, oh my god,
Oh, sorry, hold
ooh,
on. We're fixing my body right
Fallen
now.
is freaking the fuck out. Yeah,
My foot
okay.
wasn't lined up, so I'm just gonna turn it
Paul's
off and back on, so I
tracking
don't have to
is
calibrate. Because if I
so
calibrate, the couch is
so
gonna move.
all of that was because of so that was all because of your foot.
Yep. Because my foot was like, I'm sure
Oh.
you saw my foot all the way out here. In reality, my foot was over here. Like they were pretty much touching, and my foot looked like it was way out here.
Ah.
And I didn't really want to be man spreading in the middle of this episode.
Now you're
I'm.
making me feel bad.
Well, you're wearing a man avatar. It's fine to man spread.
Oh, sorry,
I'm all for
sorry,
equal rights.
sorry,
Anyone,
so
hey,
sorry.
yo, anyone can manspread.
I don't know. I don't know. Ever since I started using like a female avatar like this, I've gotten self conscious about those things.
I'm playing my role. Let me be my
And
role.
I don't mean to laugh.
Hmm.
It's just the like I don't know. It's just a funny concept.
It is,
But I
it's
understand.
not
I
gonna,
understand
yeah,
how people come to it.
it's not gonna like for a lot of people it probably won't make sense, but for me, I very heavily associate myself with my avatar. So when you're like using a female avatar that has like slightly more revealing clothes or things like that, like I don't want to just coochie out for everyone to see. I gotta I gotta keep it nice and tucked away. You gotta earn it.
That's your fault for having avatars that have coochie.
Fair, fair enough.
Or even other extended body parts. It's your fault.
I'm not gonna comment on extended body parts on this avatar.
Yeah, it's got shoes. Oh, that's right. Though I was wanting to segue into relationships very shortly.
Yes. Oh, well, we can segue into that whenever you want, or we can just like roughly just punch right into it, like right now. Relationships.
Well, I mean, so my hot take, and I mean, it's a hot take for, I guess, a lot of people in VR chat, but I mean, not so much you two, because you hear plenty of it from me.
Yeah.
But my hot take about VR chat relationships is very much just no.
No.
No, just no. Like it's great and all to have comfort, and if you can't find comfort in someone in real life, then sure, maybe a VR chat
Editor,
like
Yeah.
editor,
relationship.
get a picture of NZ and just put no as a caption, bottom text.
Can do. Um, and here's I'm gonna give you my counter argument now, because I do think there is a place for online VR chat relationships,
And there is.
especially
I
now.
know there is.
There was
Like,
there was a brief period where I very much agreed with you, because it was after my first VR relationship where I was like, oh, well, first and only at this point, I guess. I was like, oh shit, this is not a good relationship. This isn't a healthy relationship. But I think I just ended up finding someone that didn't take it, or didn't, I guess, follow what I was looking for in a partner. Um,
mm,
and I don't know, I felt like obligated to keep it up. And so after that relationship ended, I was like, well, I don't know if I really want to do this whole VR dating thing anymore. And then I had a pretty much sharp mental switch recently when I realized that I'm pretty gay. Like the
fair enough.
because like I don't know, I'd probably still consider myself bi, but like recently, like I've had a lot more gay susness pop into my brain, and I also came to the realization that if I ever want a relationship like that, it would have to start on VR chat. At least if I wanted one now, because town that I live in is not very progressive whatsoever. In fact,
Mm.
my coworker at work legitimately told me if he ever saw me like walking down the aisle with another man, he would crash the wedding with guns and
Yeah.
show up that way. So
That's just
this is not a very safe area for me to, I guess, practice that type of thing. So,
yeah.
and I live in Canada, by the way, and he was gonna show up with guns. That's the kind of neighborhood that
Yeah.
this is. This is very much like the Texas of Canada, as I like to call it. So you get those very much not open-minded worldviews over here.
Yeah. Because
We,
like
we
I
need
mean,
to we need
like
to we need to pack your bags, get the money that we need. You're moving out now.
I wish I could desperately. I don't have enough money at the moment, and I hate
yeah.
my job a lot, but I gotta keep working if I ever want to leave.
Oh yeah. Like I mean, such is life, right?
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like you got places to be, but it costs money.
Yep.
I gotta say, it is a counter argument, but I mean, I'm not saying that I'm definitively right, but isn't it? I understand that there's a place for online relationships for people to find comfort and test the waters, but isn't it also, I I do acknowledge well, I try to get people to acknowledge the fact that if it's a long, long distance relationship, what's your plan, right? Like, as in,
Yes.
what's your plan
No,
for
I
how it will work in the long
yes.
term? And that never has a right answer, right? There is no
Yes.
definitive right answer. But I'm always kind of under the ideal of that takes a lot of logistics and money, and that's hard. Like if people if you know you struggle with money, I struggle with money, people struggle with money, and so moving to an entirely another country, logistics and money involved.
Yeah.
Money's already an issue before we've even started. Like,
Yes. No, and like and the thing is, I feel
yeah,
like if you want to do a relationship like this properly, it's gonna take a lot of time. Like probably like at least 2 or 3 years before you can start, I guess, getting into more like physical relationships. I don't feel like anyone should go from
mm,
straight to an online relationship to straight to moving in with each other. Because I feel like that's just asking for disaster. I feel like you need to
mm,
have like a couple times, maybe you go on a vacation to where that partner lives. You like spend some time with them, they show you around, you get like familiar with them, like in like a more personal sense. Or not necessarily
hey
personal, like a more
yo,
physical sense, like since you like can
no, I'm
physically
joking.
be there. I mean, I
Yeah,
mean that's like I know you're joking, but that is a part of it too. Like you know,
yeah.
like the physical part, is something you got to consider as well. Um, but yeah, I feel like it's just very you got to be very dedicated, I guess, to it, right?
Mm. Because yeah,
Which
Also
I
yeah,
guess
takes a
with all
lot
the
of
black. Oh, go on. Go on.
it also takes a lot of understanding of when to and when to not in some scenarios, because sometimes people may have really rough like instances of just family members like that, or things that they cannot or can do,
yeah,
or money is too scarce on what job they're working at or state they're living in. It takes a lot of mental state and understanding to do said thing. Like I know a friend of mine recently went on a vacation to go see his man um for like a week, and I told them be careful, but also I think it's not really a good idea because you guys are still pretty fresh. But I mean, he did what he did. He came back safely. I'm happy with that.
yeah,
But otherwise, it was a
Thinking
lot
about
of
it.
thinking.
Woo.
yes,
It was a lot of thinking to think of and what to take into consideration.
yep,
And honestly, if you want to be doing that, you would have to be the better person and be an adult
yes,
to
for sure.
do that. Because honestly,
No,
it is not
And so,
easy to be doing that.
yeah, I would
as I
agree.
know from Black Cat, people's perception of Black Cat community is that everyone's young and dumb and stupid and
Yep.
loud and just cringe. And that's probably where all the drama comes from. Is that no one can be an adult.
Yeah.
Like no one
No,
no one
I
can
would
approach the
I
situation
would almost
objectively.
argue that an online relationship requires you to be more adult than an actual one. And I don't mean adult in like the lewd sense. I mean
Hmm.
adult in the like you got to be mature enough to like handle it and like mature enough to realize like the nature of the relationship because you're not going to be able to see each other in person like very often, obviously. Um and so
Hmm.
that means you're not going to be able to like eat meals with them. You're not going to be able to like do things like that. I mean, obviously you can hop in VR and eat something together, but I feel like it's not quite the same atmosphere. Um, as being like
Hmm.
physically there, you can't share your food with each other. You can't do cute like dinner date things like that. Um, but I'm not. I think it's still very much possible. I mean, I've had friends who've had successful
Hmm.
relationships started that way as
Oh
well.
yeah.
So I mean, it very much can
I gotta
work.
say, you brought up a good point of like the sharing meals together, spending time together. Doesn't like you can't do that physically as often. But then, what are you guys' thoughts then about a lot of the relationships that you'll obviously see around VR chat, where it's like they're spending like 24/7, they're in a Discord call with each other. And although they're doing their own thing, they're still in a Discord call with each other, or, sleeping on
Mm.
call, or like just it. That's when
I
I'm kind of
mean,
like, oh, that's on
it.
the unhealthy side of things, when
Yes.
it's like an expectation to be 24/7 present
Yes.
with each other
Yes.
and not be able to
No, I
then,
have
yeah,
experience
live
with
your
that.
own life. And that applies
Yeah.
to real life relationships too.
Yeah. And I have experience with that kind of relationship, as you both know already. Like my last relationship was very much very much the let's spend every moment together, and eventually it got on my nerves. Obviously, too much of anything, it's scientifically proven that too much of any one thing is bad for you. So we ended up spending what I would say too much time together, and it ended up getting on my nerves. Um, and I don't know, it was a little hard for me. So I feel like there's got to be healthy boundaries with that as well. I think there's nothing wrong with like
Mm,
sleep calls. There's nothing wrong with like wanting to spend time with each other. But I also think it's important that you have times apart as well. And I don't mean just like, oh, you got to leave for work and go work. Like I feel like even like your own personal time, you need some time for yourself as well. Where you can do your own things. You can like maybe like watch a show by yourself, hang out with your own friends separately. I feel like that's very important for a relationship. Um, but yeah, especially like
yeah.
having lived that scenario, I definitely appreciate time to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much 100% agree because say like if you got hobbies that you like to do,
Mm.
and you do it like every now and then you get in a relationship and you can't do it anymore. So then you want to do it, but you're stuck with that one person. I feel like you really have to take consideration of that person's time. Like they're still gonna be there. It's just give each other room.
Yep.
Which I feel like some people may have a sense of security of like, oh,
Yes.
maybe by a mere chance I'm with this person, I want to spend as much time with them, and
Mhm.
I don't know how much time I'll have with them the
Yeah.
next time,
I think the thing about VR chat
which
relationships or online relationships like that, where you want to spend time with each other all the time, is the fact that you can't be with them physically means you don't know what they're doing outside of online or outside of the internet unless they explicitly tell you and that you whether you trust what they say. So I feel like the reason why, at least I guess on the more toxic end of things, that people want to spend a lot of time together is so that they know their partner isn't doing things behind their back. And my biggest
Yeah,
gripe
but
with
that's
like the
just
VR
so
chat like
unhealthy.
relationship scene is I see it so much where it's just either relationship hopping from one to the next to the next to the next to the next over and over and over. And they don't give themselves time to break. They don't have a relationship that lasts an extended period of time, and they don't take like healthy breaks in between relationships.
Yeah.
And that's not even bringing up the a lot of the infidelity that you see in VR chat with people like taking on multiple partners, and because they can get away with it because they have no physical repercussions for doing so, and I feel like that causes a lot of people to just take advantage of that.
Mm. Then I have, though, seen some relationships pop up with that in mind too. It's very much just like, hey, this is the online relationship.
Yeah.
If I get into a physical relationship with someone in my area or whatever, then that's that. Like, this
Yeah.
is only a VR chat thing. We're not spending time outside of this kind of thing. And like, I don't know. In a way though, I guess that's just setting boundaries.
Yep.
That is just setting boundaries. That I've just successfully found the solution. You set boundaries.
Yes, for sure.
set, set
I think
expectations and boundaries.
now you saying that I've also seen as well in like online dating, and sometimes VR chat is no one doesn't really set boundaries, so it just kind of goes,
Yeah.
which causes a lot of problems, and there's really not a lot of
Because
communication of that, and it's like you guys
yeah,
should know what boundaries you should and should not go,
because I
but you
mean,
never
in
said in
all
the first
honesty,
place.
it ends up being very much like a lot of those expectations get built around in the honeymoon phase, right? As
Yeah.
in, you are madly in love, you want to spend every waking second, so on and so on. And so then all these expectations get built up, and then when you start to come out of that and you start trying to figure things out more permanently, it's like, ah, shit, but we've always done it like this. And we've
Yes.
always done this. And we've always done that. And if we have to change it, that's changing a core part of the relationship. And it's like, yeah,
Yes.
it happens in like real life relationships, happens in online relationships, and it even happens in, say, like, I don't know. I was gonna say like fake relationships is like a third category, but I've already named online and real life
Yeah.
relationships. I don't know. Imaginary. No, it doesn't. Probably
Fake
doesn't
ones
have
with your invisible friend.
that.
Um,
Yeah.
I mean, actually, my third category for that would be lewd relationships, where it's not like you're trying to look for a partner. It's just you're looking to get rid of like that sexual tension or like sexual release with a partner. I feel like
Boundaries.
boundaries are important for that as well, because sometimes those boundaries get crossed.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Very on the iffy side of that territory. Just getting at the other side of pleasure, and honestly, um, my take on that, you can be lewd, but if you're consistently like that,
Mm.
you, I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Well,
you need to take a chill
I
pill.
feel like in VR chat you see a lot of people who kind of make it their whole personality. Um, like don't get me wrong, I
Hmm.
can be a little lewd at times. You guys know this. Um, I'll make, especially when I've had a couple drinks, as we've discovered. Um, but I would never force myself onto someone who didn't want me to. And I would never like actually like go on to someone who I guess I knew didn't want that. Um, because consent important even in VR. Consent is the
Hmm.
way of the world in that sense. But the thing is that like for relationships of that nature, I feel like it's fine if that's something that you want to do. Um, I just think it's important to go about it the in a healthy way. Like I don't I as a strictly monogamous type person, it absolutely like pains me anytime I hear or see of someone who um like is in a relationship, like an actual like emotional relationship with someone, and they do lewd stuff with other people on the side, even if there's no like feelings attached. I just that doesn't sit
Yeah.
well with me.
I realized watching some podcasts that this is still cut content, but watching some podcasts, I noticed that they use the different camera angles to cover up cutting
Mhm.
like even just the slightest dead silence.
Yeah,
That's why, like, like Joe Rogan or whatever podcasts always just
the two angle. Yeah,
like you're just being beaten. Like they seem to be having this fluent, coherent conversation constantly. But
yeah,
actually, what's happening if you pay attention is that, yeah, they just cut to the like facing you and then we'll
yeah,
cut to facing me, and that will have cut out like
yeah.
2 seconds of dead silence. And it's like, oh
Mhm.
my God, that's a brilliant idea.
I'm gonna be honest with you though.
Anyway,
The reason why I
I'm
didn't put
burning
too
tongue.
much effort on being like, oh, let's actually do the jump cuts in between
Mm,
frames and have multiple camera angles is because one, that's a lot of extra footage that you got to deal with. Uh,
yeah.
and a lot of extra editing work, which is fine. But the thing is, I mean, how many people are throwing on a podcast and then just staring at the podcast video the whole time?
I don't know. I guess some people.
I mean, I imagine there's a couple people who will like watch. I mean,
I
I'm
do.
not the type of person who can just throw on a podcast video and just stare at it the whole time. I throw on a podcast when I'm doing
Oh,
something
I do.
else. I'll listen to it in the background and I'll
I'm
glance over
I'm
every now and again if they do something funny or reference something that I'm seeing. Then I'll glance over and be like, oh yeah, I can see that they're doing that and that's funny. And then I'll go back to doing what I'm
hmm.
doing, but I'm still listening and enjoying it that way. But I don't know. That's just, I guess, my personal take on that.
I'm gonna start off with saying I think I do something slightly psycho comparatively for like consuming content. I watch all YouTube and any video player thing that I possibly can 2 times speed.
What?
Not music, not music. Music's where I draw the line, but if I can fast forward it to 2 times, I'll watch it 2 times.
I
Not
can't.
anime, because like a lot of anime sites
My
don't do it,
yeah.
but
My brain can't keep up with
do you
that.
want to know my reason? Do
Why?
you want to know my reason for it though? Because I've done it for so long now that I can mostly keep up. You get most of the information. Some people talk really slow, and so when you speed it up, you're getting all the information really quickly, and it's nice and easy.
Yeah.
Like fills in that empty gap. But also, it would be because before school, I'd wake up and I'd have like 10 minutes before I have to leave. And then I'd be like, okay, I can watch like four or like I can watch shit tons of videos if I put them on 2 times speed. I can catch up on all my YouTube for the morning if I watch them
I
on 2 times.
don't get me
So like
wrong.
10 minutes, I can watch a 20-minute video
Yeah.
in 10 minutes.
I don't get me
Like
wrong.
that was the only
I
reason.
watch a lot of YouTube and like I definitely feel the pressure of like, oh, I gotta catch up. But the thing is about me is I'll go through like days of like not watching YouTube, and then I'll go through days where I watch basically exclusively YouTube running in the background at all times. So I don't ever really feel the need that I gotta like, oh, I gotta catch up immediately. I'm gonna miss out. Because I mean, none of my videos are so urgently important to me that I need to watch it the second it releases or like the day that it comes out.
But it's not but it's not like food, you know? Like watching it slower isn't going to make it like it's not going to be savored any more than just watching it fast. Like generally, unless if you don't actually understand what they're saying because they're speaking so fast. Fast.
I couldn't even do time and a half speed, to be honest, because
Fast.
I feel like I'm a little slower. I hear what people are saying, and I
Oh,
need time.
there.
I need time to understand, like, cause like I'll hear someone say something, but it takes my brain like a second and a half to process what they say and understand what they say. Um, for the most part, anyway. So like having everything moving at that speed, I have YouTube videos already that move really fast pace, and I feel like I already miss a lot of it. So doing it at 2.5 speed, I feel like wouldn't do the same justice for me.
Because Kitsune, do you have any weird content like consumption habits, or are you just you watch it
I have a content
and you
consumption
watch it
habit
like that's it?
of putting on YouTube, forgetting what I'm doing, and accidentally doing things I didn't mean to do. I ended up with face tracking. We got distracted by
Oh
YouTube and
God, yeah.
bought face tracking. I would pin that mostly on ADHD as opposed to like a content creation habit, but definitely something notable that happens while I'm enjoying content.
Normally when I'm on YouTube, it's just the general aspect of just if it's something that it's watchable. But if I'm just gonna be hearing someone just talk, I normally just put it on like a second monitor and then do something else. And then I'll glance at it every now and then, even if they're not trying to make
Mm.
like a reference and they're doing hand gestures. Like I'm just
Yeah.
physically just watching what they're doing. Um, it's kind of just in a perspective of just like I hear them talking. I do pretty good of just multitasking, hearing someone say something and then me doing something else as well. Because that
Yeah.
was generally the last trip I had
I
just to do that.
guess I guess another reason why the 2 times speed thing wouldn't work for me is literally every time I'm watching YouTube, I'm always doing something else. Always. Whether it's like
Mm.
just even just chilling in VR chat where like I'm throwing on a YouTube video and I'm like maybe like looking at my avatar stuff, I'm doing like looking at toggles, maybe I'm like dancing, I don't know. I'll do all kinds of things where I'm always doing something else while watching the YouTube video, and speeding it up would cause me to miss a lot. Because as is, there'll be
That's
times
actually
where
a
I
really good
zone
point.
out of watching the video, and I'll be like, I'll be like doing something. I'll get really focused on working on my avatar or something, and then I'll zone back into something really funny that they said. And I was like, oh shit, I missed something. I gotta go back a little bit. So I already missed enough as is due to me focusing on that. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just burned through content way too fast.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like I feel the same way normally, cause otherwise, if I speed it up, I'm just like
Yeah,
I can understand what you're saying, but I feel like I need to see it in the normal pace that it was going for.
yeah,
Because I can register what people say if they're talking really fast. Say like what Puerto Ricans when they speak Spanish, they're normally uh fast speakers, and the difference between normal Mexicans and Puerto Ricans is it's their different way of speaking Spanish, but you can tell through the way how they're speaking really fast
yeah,
within Spanish.
Hmm.
So just me having to watch a video to speed it up, I can't do that.
You've actually made me understand actually exactly why I watch it at 2 times speed then, because yeah, you're watching it normal speed but doing other things,
yeah.
whereas whenever I'm watching YouTube, this is what
You're
I'm
watching
watching. Like
exclusively
I'm
YouTube. Yeah,
I'm watching the video and only the video,
I
yeah.
I
So
kind of
then it's
figured that
giving
was
me
the
more
case.
attention to be able
Yeah,
to process it. Yeah. Though I think I'd have to do that anyway with I think the reason why I then watch it on 2 times speed is because I have to do that even on normal speed anyway.
yeah,
Because very similarly, actually understanding what they're saying is difficult, regardless of the speed, kind of just due to like an auditory processing issue.
yeah,
Like, I hear the words, and then 6 seconds later, I'll finally understand it. Like,
yeah,
genuinely happens uncomfortably often. It's a bane of everyone that knows me existence. Um, but then if I'm putting my full focus to watching the video, doesn't matter what speed it's on, I'll understand it because I'm already fully attentive to it. So actually, that's good therapy, divers. We did it.
And now for
If
some
that
small
though,
talk.
you have to play it. You'll have to play it by ear.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Now for some small talk. I want to talk about something that I brought up previously, but I want to talk about it on the podcast. We talked earlier about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. They're gonna fight. They're
Oh
gonna
my
fight, and I
god.
want to bring it up on the podcast because I feel like that's gonna be an absolute sight to behold. I feel like
Mm,
we're
All
about to
right.
watch the Zuck
All right.
get zucked.
Uh,
pause.
if me and Kitsune were to stand up, would we be in frame?
Not fully. I mean,
Not
Kitsune's barely
fully.
in the
All right.
frame as it
Because
is.
I was about to say, if I stood up and Kitsune stood up, then Kitsune would be about, I don't know, there on me, right? You'd be quite a bit taller than me, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Um, that would be Mark being up here, and then Elon being my height. But
Wait, is
but
Mark?
then
Or,
we swap body types. So then I would be
I thought
Mark
I thought
being
Mark
this
was
tall,
shorter.
and then Elon
I remember hearing
is
somewhere when
Mark's
he was in.
shorter.
I remember hearing somewhere that in Congress he was
If
too
Mark is
short.
shorter,
He was too short and he needed a booster seat when he was at the Congress thing.
oh my god, if Mark is shorter than Elon, Mark is dead because the only thing that I thought Mark had going for him was his
The
height.
height.
Otherwise, Elon is more stockier.
Yes.
Elon is, I'm pretty sure, younger. Elon is just like, if Elon's not shorter than him and is taller, Mark is dead.
Yes.
Mark is going to die.
Hold on. I'm googling right now. How tall
Oh
is
my
Mark
god.
Zuckerberg?
Oh my god. Because, like, yeah, you can train all you want, but, like, the longer you reach, the harder it is to then get hit. Because you can punch them further away than they can punch you. But then if
You
you're
give me the meters.
stockier, that I assume
Oh,
like
5'7".
that Elon is compared to him. Okay, 5'7". Oh, Jesus. Who is that for?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark.
He's
Oh
five
my
foot seven.
God, he's short.
Yep.
Oh,
And now to see how
sorry.
big Elon Musk is.
Sorry. I'm tall, so 5'7"
Elon Musk is 6'1".
looks small. Oh my
Oh my
God.
god.
Elon, spear the man. Spear the man.
Oh jeez. Yeah. Bye bye, Mark Zuckerberg.
There's no way.
No more metaverse for
There's
him.
no. This can't be right. It can't be right. They'll be like different. They're basically, I assume, if the fight were to happen and you were to look at like say weight class, I think Elon would be in a different weight class than Mark. Not only that, but Mark is now taller than him.
Yep.
I
By quite
I-
significantly. It's significant. It's 5 inches shorter.
it's toddler. It's granted though. I like this analogy. It's toddler versus baby. They're just both gonna have temper tantrums.
Yeah.
This is what all this is.
I mean,
is.
I'm sure that this is all just a big marketing thing to like garner some kind of, I mean, crowd
But like,
sort of
how much
marketing.
money
I don't
could
know.
they really make? Like it's small bucks.
Yeah.
Like they're probably gonna make a loss out of it all. But then I guess good on them for doing it for the sake of doing it. Like I don't know.
I mean, I just appreciate the fact that these big billionaires are gonna go at it in a boxing ring because they had a fight, or like they just talked about it on Twitter one day. It was like, oh, hey, I'm down to fight Mark Zuckerberg if he's down to fight me, and Mark Zuckerberg's like, yeah, I'm down, let's fight. And then they're like, oh my god, this is happening, and I have a hard time believing that they didn't
This has to be a
premeditate that.
fake account.
No. It's
Hmm.
legitimately real. It's been talked about on the radio stations, like where I live. I've seen like countless articles. This is like real. This is actually happening. Unless one of them pulls out at like last
Billionaires
minute or
wonder
something.
why we hate them. No, I'm joking. This actually, in all honesty, this would be a reason to like billionaires.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, or night, or morning, or whatever the hell you're doing if you're just sitting there in VR chat or at your desk or something along those lines. Subscribe! It would be really useful.
Like
I don't
and
actually know how many
subscribe.
people are subscribed.
Like and
to us, I'll be
subscribe.
perfectly honest.
Don't like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. I'm gonna cut you out. I'm gonna cut you out from saying that. I'm just gonna beep you.
Fuck.
God motherfucking damn it!